How has everyone been? How have the vibes been recently? How has life been? I will say for me, life has been quite the roller coaster, but like in a fun way. You know, when like you get on a roller coaster, you have like mixed emotions. You're freaking terrified, but then you're excited to get on. You're like, that's kind of how life has been like for me, and it's been kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like scary things happen in life, or things that cause fear in life, right? But that's what's beautiful. You know what I mean? Also, yeah, I think the stream might be a little late because I'm streaming on Wi Fi. I know, like, how many years has it been and I'm still a scuff streamer? Bro, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at this point. I don't know. It's just in my DNA to be a scuff streamer. Thank you for welcoming back. I missed you all. I missed everyone so much. I've missed having this space to just chat my thoughts and like how like judgment free zone. Even though we're on the internet, still this space at least is judgment free for me and everyone in here. But yeah, it's been forever. I know it's been forever. Okay. I have so much that I want to chat about. Or actually, you know what we could do? I want to chat. Let's do this. Y'all want jellyfish? What y'all want? I want like nature. That's not at least CGI or AI. Or wait, this sleep better on a rainy day.
I run a podcast solo. No producer,
Let's
no
sleep better
editor,
on a
no
rainy
tech
day,
skills,
guys.
just Riverside. I get it.
It's been so long. It has been. Let's see. First, where have I been? All right. Yeah, I don't know. Life happens, and it's okay if you go through things and you just have to like let go of everything to focus on yourself. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel bad or don't let others make you feel bad for needing to do that, needing to take time and space for yourself. You know what I mean? Is this AI? I feel like this is AI. I just looked over it and I was like, that looks like AI. What are you playing? Right now I'm playing a lot of Apex. Playing a lot of Apex, even though it really grinds my gears. I'm sure it grinds a lot of people's gears. This, why does everything look AI to me? I hope this isn't AI. This doesn't look like that AI. You know what I mean? That doesn't look AI, right? All right, let's enjoy nature. Okay, but anyways, yeah. Where have I been? Have I just been gone? Da 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 da. Now that I'm back, what I want to chat with y'all about. I remember talking about this the last time that I streamed like a while ago. The video is still up. I remember talking about like spirituality and stuff like that and like what I believe in and if I'm like religious and whatnot. And I personally I'm like one of those people that feel like your relationship to God is your relationship to God, and no book, no person, no authority figure can tell you how to have that relationship with God. You know what I mean? And also, I am also one of those people that believe that every religion is true, every faith is true, every God is real, every being that you praise and worship and makes your life better. I believe that they are real. So for me, because I grew up in the Catholic Church, I am most, I guess you could say, drawn to pray to Jesus and who they consider who God is, like this man in the sky, you know what I mean? So I do feel more comfortable and more drawn to connecting with that version of God and praying, specifically praying to that version of God. But I'm low key kind of drawn to the Muslim religion. I really appreciate how their perspective of life is. It's just, if you haven't, I'm not a teacher, so I'm not going to, like say a lot about the things that I've learned personally, but if you want to like look it up and all that stuff, all that stuff. Burp, love you too. Yes, but If you want to look up all that stuff, feel free in your own time, you know. Right now we're vibing. No, but yeah. I've been attracted to that religion because of how their view on life is like presence. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I will talk about because it's the one thing that I have been trying to focus on in my life, which I think is what a lot of people should be focusing on. But I feel like, of course, in today's day and age, it's a little harder to, practice self care and self love and all of these other things that would lift you up because, we're all struggling in one way or another with like finances or a job you just don't like or insecurities that you have just in some way shape or form one way or another we're all struggling, right? Levels are different, but we can all at least relate and connect to in that way. Oh my god, what was I talking about? I'd just be spitting facts and then boom. Hold on, let me get a sip of water. If you haven't been hydrated, hydrate now. It's very important. What was I talking about? Oh, yes, religion. They're really focused on what I've like researched and in yoga too. Presence and being in the now is like what we should all be striving and focusing on. And when people like to say, "Oh, meditate," or like don't think, like be in the now, like da da da, right? And like whenever people say that, it's always easy to be like, "Oh, like what does that even mean?" Like that. And again, that's why it's important for you to do that research within yourself and like online and like how the different types of meditating there are, and stumbling on my words, but you know what I mean? Like you get what I mean? Like that type of thing, like you gotta dive down it yourself. Like no one can tell you the right and wrong way to do things for yourself. You just have to learn, try and test, trials and tribulations, and what works works and what doesn't. And like that's what I had to learn with myself is, like other people's success isn't yours and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like for others it might be like, oh, people have this nicer car, people have this nicer job, people have a family, people are getting married, but like that you're always like focusing on like something that you don't have. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just saying it because I feel like this is relatable to someone, I hope. But you really got to focus on the now and like what you have. So like an exercise for right now, close your eyes and what can you hear right now at this very moment? When you stopped and you listened, whatever was in your environment, if you had the TV on, if the laundry machine went off, whatever it was that you stopped and listened to in that moment, you were present. In that moment, you were fully aware of what was going on in the now. And that feeling is what we should all be practicing because it's a skill. It's something that needs practice. You know what I mean? Like, hey, editing Yuki. I just wanted to clarify when I say being present and that feeling of being present. I want to clarify and say it's not so much a feeling rather than a state of being. And I recently learned what that was too. But from what I could share with what state of being is for me is what you are behind the emotions and what you are behind the feelings. That to me is what your state of being is. So, yeah, take that as you will and go do your own research. Love you. Like when I first started meditating, like this is a lot of people's story too, where they get into meditating and they're like, "Oh, I can't I can't sit still for longer than 5 minutes. I just have so many thoughts in my brain. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and that's all valid. That's all fair. Like, it does feel frustrating to try to do something and then the opposite is happening. You know what I mean? But that's where the magic happens. You sit there and you experience what you're experiencing. What are you experiencing right then and there? You're getting frustrated because you're thinking too much. Okay, like what are you thinking about? What are these thoughts? You know, and then you can like maybe don't overthink per se by like feeding into the thoughts, but I mean more or so like dissecting those thoughts and like, okay, why am I thinking that? Is that important to me now? Will it affect my future? If it will, how long? Like, you know, like will it affect my future in 10 years, in 5 years, in a week? Will it affect me tomorrow, you know? Like these are the questions you have to ask yourself in order to figure out what you need to prioritize in your life, you know? And like of course things are going to be stressful, like paying rent for, you know what I mean? Like if you don't have the money to pay rent and it's like you have to pay rent in like 2 weeks in la di da, you know, and it's like that is stressful, but you have 2 weeks, you know. Don't think about paying rent when it's 2 weeks ahead. Think about getting the money. You know what I mean? Think about what you can do now to affect that outcome, that future. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to clarify that I am in no way, shape, or form trying to belittle anyone's situation or anything by mentioning the rent situation. I just mean if you're going to stress about it, stress about what you can control. What could you do now? Like take more extra shifts, do a little extra side gigs or something, you know, collect cans, sell metal, like whatever it is that you can do that you can think of to change and affect that outcome is what you should be stressing about. Because again, yes, the situation is stressful, but what you can do makes it less stressful. Again, I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm so sorry. I'm do not mean to make fun of or belittle anyone, I swear. But yeah, like that's something that I've been working on is being present, is being in the now, is talking myself through my overthinking because that is something that I have definitely struggled with almost all of my life is overthinking and you know like it's the little things like am I walking weird? Did I look at that guy funny? It's you know like just so many thoughts, right? But that's where the practice of meditating and like receiving those thoughts and learning to receive them and then learning to let them go because we're so good, we're so good at receiving them and keeping them. Oh my god, if there was a medal we would all have, we would all be in first place. We're all so good at receiving these thoughts and keeping them inside and letting them fester and letting them boil and letting them, you know, and just keeping them. But what we need to learn to do is receive them. Yes, because there's nothing we can do about that. It's the human experiencing. It's the human experience that we are experiencing. So of course, we have to experience it. So we receive it, but we what we need to learn is to let it go. I completely forgot what we were talking about. I just say shit and then I laugh. I'm like that saying where it's like I give you advice, but I don't know though. But that's me though. Oh my god. What else is there to talk about? Oh. If anyone here has seen the Michael Jackson movie, how was it? Let me know. A lot of people on the interwebs have said a lot of negative things about the Michael Jackson movie. For me, I personally think the Michael movie was a 10 out of 10, just because of like the cinematography and the actors and everything, but mainly because of what that movie brought into my life. You know what I mean? Is okay, guys. All right, I'm not crazy. Okay, you guys can't be. You can't be going behind your screens being like, okay, all right, this Michael Jackson fanatic. No, no. Listen to me. Listen. It's a good movie, right? And I understand. I get why people like on Rotten Tomatoes or just online, they're like, "Oh, the movie sucks," like blah blah. I get why they say that. I do. Is it the best movie in cinematography and cinema of today? No, it's not. But is it a movie that moves you? Is it a movie that makes you, when you think back to it and you think back to how it made you feel? You can think back, oh wow, yeah, I felt this and I felt that. If it makes you do that, I feel like that's a good movie. You know what I mean? It touches a lot about family dynamics, beating your children. Like, it's not taboo to talk about it because there's people online that talk about, like, oh, I can't wait to have my kids. I can abuse the fuck out of them, like that shit's fucking crazy, like there's people out there in the world that actually think that way, and it's because it's so flippant, like it's so like children are viewed as just empty vessels. They're not really human yet because of whatever reasoning behind it, right? But that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. But it talks a lot about family dynamics, and then like the one question that I think is asked a lot is like, and I don't even want to. I don't even like asking this question, but the question is, would Michael be who Michael was if not for Joseph? And of course, the answer probably would be no, right? I feel like he would have still found his way to music. I feel like he still would have found his way to healing people in that regard with his voice, right? Would he have been as famous? Probably not. Like, I don't think he would have, because that pain is what helped him transmute it into light and his power. And like, sticks and stones may break my bones but words can never hurt me type deal, like I can, if it doesn't kill me, it makes me stronger type deal, like that is what he went through, where like he was getting beat down, but each time he got back up, he kept performing. 10 out of 10, stellar, amazing, talented, wonderful, performer every single time. But behind the scenes, all of this shit was going down. You know what I mean? Like, imagine how much strength it takes to have all of this pain you deal with on a day to day, and then to shove it all behind you, behind a smile. How strong and how much of a beautiful soul you can have to still give people a positive experience when you yourself aren't experiencing that. Whew, whew, my heart. I feel for anyone who feels this message. Not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I love you. But yes. That's what I feel about the Michael movie, is that if you really watch it and you really think about it, and you're not just thinking about this super megastar persona and blah blah blah, and like thinking of it as like an autobiographical pick, whatever, however you say it, whatever, you know what I mean, like fact for fact, like his life frame by frame, like if you're viewing it in that way, then yeah, of course it's not the best movie. But if you're viewing it in the lens of what you can take away from it, what it can show you, what it can teach you, what you can learn from the movie, I think you would get such a different experience. I don't know. That's just my take. But you do you. One thing that I do want to share that I wrote about the Michael movie, because I don't know if you guys know what a shadow journal is, but I personally, again, research things on your own accord, but I personally feel like I've recently discovered a journal one day. I wrote a journal entry and then I kept writing, and then little by little I kept getting pieces of truth in this journal through the shadow work that I would be doing in this journal, or in the outside that I would feel like meditating or watching the spiritual message videos that I would watch, doing breath work through them, and integrating the messages and alchemizing whatever pain or whatever negativity it is that I have inside of me that day that I need to transform, right? I do that on the outside, and then I write whatever it is that I learn in this journal. Or if I'm having a little bit of a harder time to digest something, that's when I write in the journal, and then again, revelations come. And I feel like if you're a writer yourself, or you're interested in writing, or you've like you're when you were younger, you'd be like, "Dear diary," definitely invest in a journal. 100% look into getting a journal. It like you don't have to be writing like a publisher's coming in and reading your shit, grammar, you know what I mean, punctuation, whatever the fuck, right? Like you don't got to make it interesting, you don't got to make it funny, you don't got to, you or you can do all of that, right? Just do whatever it is that feels authentic to you, and you will learn. And that's literally just go through life with that mindset of l- do everything so authentically that you can't help but discover who you are, like getting up out of bed. How would you, viewer, do that? How would me, Yuki, get out of bed every morning? Oh, she would put on something on YouTube, like a video like this, or a sound bath, or a spiritual message reading, or whatever, something in the background, and she would get up and she would stretch. Or if it's a slow morning, she would stretch in bed, like what would you do? Like authentically, like if you would just literally, like if you would roll out of bed and flop to the floor, fucking do that. And then laugh about it because you're just that silly goofy guy. You know what I mean? Like if that's authentic to you, fucking do it, and then you will learn more about yourself, and like why you are the way that you are, and why you do the things that you do. Like why do you fall off the bed? Like what is it about you that makes you want to do that? What is it about me that makes me want to have a calm, stress-free morning? Like, because every morning when I grew up, I didn't know what peaceful morning was, because Mexican music would be blaring, and I'd have to immediately get the fuck up and get a dish rag and start clean. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know, I never knew what a peaceful, slow morning was, unless I would wake up before everyone else, and I would then envision what it would be like to have a peaceful morning like that as a child, And then here I am living it, Am I doing it every day 100%? No, of course not. We're all just human, right? But on the days where you can't give your 100%, you still try to give that 1%, still try to give that 5% whenever you can, because you just have to know that future you will appreciate that, and present you is getting that gratifying feeling of doing something for yourself, so you feel grateful and you feel nice. That, like, that to me is what self-care and self-love is doing something nice for yourself. Not, I'm gonna go to Starbucks and get my little matcha drink and a little scone, and I'm gonna get a little cute bikini top. I don't know who I just channeled there, but but you get what I mean. Like consumerism can be self-care. Yes, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, getting yourself looking, making yourself ready and looking all beautiful and shit. Like, yeah, that is self-care. That is self-love. But another form of it could be exercising. It could be cleaning your space, decluttering your space, getting rid of something you said you were going to get rid of and never got around to it, Like holding yourself accountable and being responsible is what self-love and self-care is. And also being proud of yourself and grateful for yourself that you're alive and you're still living and you're still doing the things that you need to do to be living and surviving and striving, and thriving, and be grateful and proud of that, That's another thing that I wanted to talk about, is that I feel like I struggle with, is being proud and happy and grateful for myself. I could be so grateful and thankful for Mother Earth and nature and the trees and the squirrels and, the insects and everything that makes this world go around. I could be so thankful for the viewers that are watching this, and the people that I speak to on the day to day and or people's lives that I'm able to connect with, and understand. Like I can be grateful for those things, those exterior things. But when it comes to myself, I need to practice on being able to be like, oh, yeah, I did good today in my shift. I wasn't just slow, I was on top of it. I didn't make any mistakes, or if I did make a mistake, I fixed it, or I didn't make as many as I did last time, like focusing on the brighter, the better part of things versus the negative things that happen today, because negative stuff does happen, like, oh, we got a rush in and so many tickets were coming in and the customers were being rude and like dropping food everywhere, like I'm their maid or whatever, right? Like I could have that outlook, but why when I could have a different one? And that also, I will say, takes practice because, again, as someone who has been in that mindset, who has been depressed and still gets depressed, don't get me wrong, I still get in those moods where, like, I feel like nothing matters, nothing I do matters, not like life doesn't matter. Life is like, not that life isn't worth living. I definitely did change my mindset with that. So that's what I mean with practice. Little things like that will fundamentally change within you, right? But I still get that feeling within myself that of like, oh, like nothing will change if like I leave, like people's lives will still go on. Like, my job will just find a replacement. My boyfriend will just find another partner. My family will have a quiet reminder of who I was, but will continue living and growing as a family with grandchildren's nieces and nephews, you know what I mean? But again, that's where the practice comes in of me being like, no, I am beautiful. I am worthy of living. This is temporary. Life is beautiful. Life gives me so much more to offer than this moment right now. And this is why being present is so important, because yes, in that present you are sad, you are mad, you are angry, you are frustrated, you are depressed, you are negative, right? But it's because you know that that's just the now. You know that this is just for now and it will change. And that fundamental mentality is what will bring you out of that every single time. Cuz I've been there. I've had to pull myself out of there multiple times as well. I am with you. But that's why I'm telling you to practice that and to tell yourself that you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are amazing, you are wonderful, your life is worth living and no one else can live it but you. And all of these amazing, positive, beautiful things that you should be saying to yourself every single day, every single minute. You know what I mean? You should be practicing that. Even if you feel dumb, even if you feel stupid saying those things, you should do it. You should do it despite the fact that you don't believe it, despite the fact that you're lying to yourself. You will feel it, you will integrate it, and you will fundamentally change. And I promise you that. I promise you that. Okay. Sorry. I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm just talking. I'm just yapping to yap, talking to talk. I'm channeling to channel. I don't know, man. Whoever sees this and hears it, and it lands, it lands. I guess you're my collective. I don't know if you want to be my collective, subscribe. I guess I'll start posting videos like this, but if not, I normally play video games. I just wanted to chat a little bit today and then try something different, something that I've been consuming of, so I want to get out there into the world as well. You know what I mean? But yes, that is all. Thank you so much for tuning in with me, vibing with me, hanging out with me. I really love you guys. I appreciate the vibes. I appreciate the support and everything. I love you guys so much. I hope you're having a wonderful good morning, evening, wherever you're watching. Drink lots and lots of water and eat lots and lots of good food. Thank you for watching. Bye. I'll see you next time I stream. Woo woo. Mwah. Bye.